Welcome back to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show and the second half of Destination Outer Space, directed by the bafflingly prolific Christopher Meme, who, for the last 7 years, has produced no fewer than 7 nouveau-retro homages to the bad old days of filmmaking. Every single one of which I intend to screen for your undoubted pleasure. The trouble all started back in 2005 when Mr. Meme made The Monster from Phantom Lake, which proved to be somewhat of a gateway film. Once he had acquired the taste, nothing could stop him. He quickly followed it up with harder stuff, like It Came from Another World and Cave Women on Mars. Friends and family became concerned and tried to intervene, which Mr. Meme filmed and released under the title Terror from Beneath the Earth. Then, just as everyone thought it couldn't get any worse, at the lowest possible point in his celluloid addiction, he forced people at gunpoint to act in his films, resulting in tonight's abomination, Destination Outer Space. Soon after going into rehabilitation, he found God in a shoebox and promised he would never touch another video camera ever again. Sadly, 6 months later, he fell off the wagon and secretly made Attack of the Moon zombies while nobody was looking, sneaking off for short periods of time to indulge in editing and other unspeakable depravities. He still does it. Early last year, he released House of Ghosts, a loving tribute to the most notorious corrupter of the innocent 60s, my old friend William Castle. Some people just can't be helped. Destination Outer Space is Mr. Meme's tribute to space opera, from Buck Rogers to Buck Rogers, and is as close to Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey as he's ever going to get. Which is a nice way to say there's a lot of spaceship-bound scenes to begin with, but the action really begins to pick up from here on in. Cross my fourth rib and hope to die. Josh Craig plays the testosteronic test pilot Captain Jackson, a member of a much larger family of human heroes who find themselves lost in space, surrounded by weird alien creatures, from John Carter of Mars to Flash Gordon to John Crichton of Farscape. The captain's fight scenes are well choreographed, and he does a great job at being beaten up. He rarely loses a fight and barely flinches when almost taking a punch. All very dramatic, but it's hard not to laugh while the captain has to deal with a space helmet that looks like a taped-together goldfish bowl, a spaceship that looks like an antique radio, dodgy scenery, a rubber spider on a string, and one-eyed aliens with lampshades on their heads. And they say there's no atmosphere in space. The background music is perfect as usual. That brassy, distorted sound that was so popular in the vintage radio serials suits this sort of film perfectly. This may very well be Mr. Meme's least offensive film so far, which is like saying this is Jack the Ripper's least dead victim so far. Enough of my semi-sycophantic jibber-jabber, let's get on with the best of the rest of what's left of Destination Outer Space.